a topic that will make everybody happy, and that's Chet Hanks.
Yes.
Yes? Yes. Okay.
More.
Chet Hanks defends being an unabashed culture vulture during sit down with, I don't know how, is it Zway?
Zway. I
Okay.
believe.
I've never listened to
I believe
her
it's Sue.
Is it? I have no idea.
Dude. Sorry, my bad. You were looking for help, and I was
looking for help. I was like, I've been doing that with a lot of stuff lately. When we're going to talk about Xochitl Gomez later, it's like now that's like part of your job, right? Like you're like, there's like, I wish I could come up with some examples. There's some funny things in my life that I've like pronounced wrong my whole life, and then been like, holy crap.
I just don't think pronouncing somebody's name wrong means that you're insensitive.
And
it's just that you didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll get to that later.
We will get to that later. So it says, Chet Hanks is the latest guest to land in the hot seat of the comedian Zway, right? Zway's eponymous late night variety show on Showtime. Oh, by the way, Zway, if that is how you pronounce it, I don't mean to be rude.
She's watching this right now, just seething.
Yes, just angry. During his appearance, the actor turned Instagram menace turned self-proclaimed fitness guru was grilled about his prominent and consistent identifier of being an unabashed culture vulture. First of all, I mean, that's a lie. What he is the original patron saint, not the current patron saint of White Boy Summer.
I almost got violent here.
He has yet to officially bestow that title on you, though. Dane.
Do I have no authority over White Boy Summer?
You can
just $300 on Cameo.
I'm telling you, we gotta hire
exactly what you want.
Okay.
We gotta hire him on Cameo and have him do the intro.
It's kind of weird that they call him a culture vulture when that term in itself kind of implies that the culture you're feeding upon is dead.
Not just that, but this is one of those things where I grew up. I have done a lot of like look into like people who like. I grew up listening to rap music, right? I'm from the suburbs, and everyone who grew up in the suburbs in the '90s grew up listening to rap music. That was just part of the culture, but it was a product. It was a mass-produced product that was sold to you by an enormous corporation, you know, whether it was All Eyes on Me 2-disc set from Tupac or Life After Death, the Notorious B.I.G., Mobb Deep, all these groups, they're very happy to sell you what they make. And the whole idea behind that, at least I'm sure was thought at the time, was that you're integrating cultures together where maybe you don't live the world they lived in, but it helps you understand what their life was a little bit better. And that would be the purpose of it, right?
Once again, if you're claiming otherwise, this is just the phenomenon of like, we can't have any shared human experiences.
None. You're not allowed.
Unless you come from exactly the same socioeconomic background, racial background, even like family situation, everything.
Gangster rap is as American as apple pie.
Absolutely.
Like,
no,
for real.
it is. It's like if whenever people ask me about, there's a whole like subsect of like of like TikTok and Instagram of like middle-aged millennial women who make videos of them like reciting gangster rap lines while making dinner to show like the dichotomy of like their life of being like a suburban mom who grew up listening to really violent song lyrics. That's a thing. And it was never meant like they're like, you did it, you listened to it ironically. It's like, maybe that's irony, but maybe it's also just the fact that it was cool.
Right.
It felt cool. And it doesn't need to be deeper than that. Tupac was cool.
And like,
Biggie,
why is it not good enough that these people created something cool that had like mass popularity and was unanimously shared between people who maybe didn't share the same experiences? Isn't that a good thing?
It's my favorite moments in culture all the time. I keep saying.
That's what like this is one of it frustrates the living hell, because they were talking about it on like a segment where they're like, is Jack Harlow getting an easy ride in the industry because he's white? I'm like, Eminem is still probably considered, if not the greatest rapper of all time, in the top 2 or 3, right? There was a very funny Chris Rock joke where he talks about the best golfer is black and the best rapper is white.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the last time we were actually like harmonious as a culture.
Jack Harlow's.
But who wants to be the best golfer? You'd much rather be the best rapper.
I don't. But the golfer, Tiger probably made more money at the time. Like.
Jack Harlow was getting carried because he's cringe as hell.
She sent me a video the other day of Jack Harlow being carried into a building.
And then people were making a big deal about it because all the like security guards who were carrying him were black, and they were like, "This is weird." Like,
But
whatever.
why was he
he
being
just didn't
carried?
he didn't want his loafers to get scuffed.
Are you kidding me? Is that
No,
the
I'm
actual?
not kidding.
So the reason that they consider him a culture vulture is because he does the Jamaican
Because he rules.
patois accent, right?
Yeah.
So it says, are there? So this is from the interview. It says, are there? The interviewer says, are there any marginalized communities you want to apologize to? Who asked that question in an interview? That's freaking weird, dude. This isn't 60 Minutes. This isn't some dude who went out and killed a bunch of people or did something awful. He's just kind of a weirdo who does funny stuff on the internet. Why is he being held to this weird standard that he is some type of like they should shine a
Like,
light on him?
I mean, they should.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's Chet Hanks. It's Chet Hanks. He's not the president.
And if you like, okay, let us let us take this to its logical conclusion. Does an apology from Chet Hanks even mean anything?
Right?
Like in general, when you apologize to these people, anyone who is aggrieved for like really, really lame modern 2022 reasons, it's not like they're ever like, oh well, thank you. You are now reintroduced back into society and we really appreciate it. No. That's never what happens. They use it against you for the rest of your natural born life because they're evil.
And like Chet not apologizing really just shows that he's smarter than
For real.
people realize.
Can I say, like, non-ironically, we really like you, Chet Hanks.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's like the culture to be ironic and shitty about people. We genuinely like you, and we genuinely think you rule.
I mean, I'm
like,
kind of being
speak for
half.
I mean,
myself.
like,
I'm not.
funny jokes, but like,
I'm not.
we do have respect
for not bending the knee. Yeah.
Listen, transitive property math. Dudes rule. Chet Hanks is a dude.
Therefore,
Thus, Chet Hanks rules. I'm a dude.
Yes.
I want to hang out with Chet Hanks so we can rule.
Gothics posted this video the other day, and I was like, yeah, he's kind of become an unsung hero here at the castle. Like
White boy summer hero.
White boy summer hero. So it says he frequently slips into a Jamaican patois accent, right? That's how it's pronounced. For some reason, despite being raised in Los Angeles and the son of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, declined the offer for repentance. They want that. Did you see that? Repentance. It's a religion, dude. They don't. They believe in original sin. They believe that you have to cast like. Go ahead. No, go, you look like you were going to say something.
Think of what they want repentance for. They want repentance for him thinking the Jamaican culture is cool.
Yeah, for using an accent.
Oh my God!
Is it kind of
lash me?
Is it kind of dorky and cheesy? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it something you should apologize for? Absolutely not. That's insane. He says, no, I don't feel like I've truly done anything offensive, so I don't. Hanks only really seems to surface in the public eye after doing something, well, offensive. However, there was the threatening declaration last year, the threatening declaration that last year, the summer of 2021 would be a white boy summer. And because these people are kind of racist, they hate that concept.
If they think that is threatening, it's just because they can't come up with their own thing.
Yes. The kind that featured some odd Venn diagram that placed him, John B., and Jack Harlow in the overlapping center. Then there was the loud anti-vax rant he delivered. Well, all the evidence that we've found recently seems that he seemed to have been on the right track there.
Get Jack Harlow the hell away from my boy.
Yeah.
For real. Do not besmirch his brand.
Yep.
I take offense to that.
He says when she asked how Hank's version of White Boy Summer is any different from the last 400 summers in American history, can you just hear the freaking snark in her voice?
So
I can.
Like
loaded.
just like can you hear it? Like, I don't even have to say it I don't even know what she sounds like, but you can hear the snark and disdain in
I
her
saw the
voice.
video. She was like, so you gonna ask for forgiveness? He was like,
Women
nah.
think that they can just sit there and stare sternly at a man and make him say or do whatever they want.
There's a great
And it's time for like things like this to happen where they realize you can't just like scold someone like you're their mommy and make them say whatever you want.
I mean, you can. You just come
You
off as a
can't compel
douche.
people to bend to your will.
There's a really great clip that's always circulating on Instagram of Snoop Dogg at like a radio station giving an interview, and she's like, well, you know, this lady's like, you know, with like the last 2 years with all this like women empowerment, does it make you feel like maybe some of the stuff you did when you were younger, like, yeah, that was fucked up? He goes, hell no, that was me. Fuck these hoes. Like that's also like, be you, dude. Like whether you agree with the person or not, I would 110% rather somebody be real and be who they are than be something, you know, they aren't for the sake of political correctness points. And that's not being disrespectful. That's him being himself. You don't have to interact with that person if you don't want to.
And we all know the people leaning the furthest into the virtue signaling are actually just bad people.
Yeah.
Because they're guilty.
It's a lot of this is what I like to call weapons grade projection. Like when they say stuff like this, that's absolutely what it is. There's also this funny article where it says, when defending himself from allegations in a new interview, the son of A-listers Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson describes his critics as social justice warriors. He talks about how he receives love from Jamaicans despite cultural appropriation backlash over accent. The same thing happened with Aquafina. Do you guys know who Aquafina is?
Oh yeah, that chick from Crazy Rich Asians.
She was in Shang-Chi. She's she was like a rapper on YouTube. They call it her doing a black scent because of the way she talks. Wouldn't that theoretically be just as much to do with where you grew up as necessarily who you're modeling it after? But she even apologized. She gave like a non-apology apology where she talks about like, see if you can look that up. See if you can look up like Aquafina apologizes for accent being, but they call it cultural appropriation. And like, what does that even mean? Like,
Aquafina takes to Twitter to give a non-apology for building career of cultural appropriation.
Go ahead and read it. It's really funny. It's like, it's the most like, you can literally hear her like publicist getting paid as you read this. Like, there's no way she wrote it.
I'm looking for it, so give me a sec.
Yeah. So it says, the 31-year-old reacted to the criticism when speaking on Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. He first explained, I was hooking up with this chick one day. She was on the phone with her family in Jamaica, and she was really in the middle of a heated conversation. I really had no idea what the F she was saying. I'm just like, wow. So break that down. The son of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson continued recalling, she was telling me how to say different stuff for a week. I was really on a Jamaican tip, and that just happened to be the week of the Golden Globes. So it's like, this is literally what they're talking about when we talk about cultures mixing. So he's with someone with Jamaican family who's talking to him and explaining this stuff to him. So it's kind of seeping into his language. I don't know if you guys have traveled outside the country, but when I've been to the UK, I've been to Spain. Like when I came back from the UK, you can already start hearing it in your voice if you're around it for long enough. It goes away fairly quickly unless you stay. But if you listen to certain actors like Gillian Anderson, her accent, or Angelina Jolie, their accents are all over the place based on, you know, time they've spent in other countries.
Right. When someone from Jamaica comes to America and starts sounding more like an American, no one assumes that they're putting on an American accent.
Exactly.
We assume, actually, it's telling that we assume this. We assume that their Jamaican accent is getting diluted into some kind of nothingness.
Yeah.
I think I found the quote.
Okay.
There is a social political context to everything, especially the historic context of the African American community in this country, she wrote. It is a group that is disproportionately affected by the institutionalized policies and law enforcement policies, all while having historically and routinely seen their culture stolen, exploited, and appropriated by the dominant culture for monetary gains without any acknowledgement nor respect for where those roots come from, the pioneers of its beginnings, and the artists that perfected and mastered the craft. It's like she's just giving you a little history lesson.
So if it was for whose monetary gain, I ask, did the artist not make any money?
I think there's one more in line.
Go ahead.
Sorry. As a non-black POC, I stand by the fact that I will always listen and work tirelessly to understand the history and context of AAVE. I don't know what that means.
That's an acronym for Ebonics, but I forget what it is.
I'll look it up later. What is deemed appropriate or backwards towards any progress of any and every marginalized group.
So basically, stay in your lane is what they're saying. I disagree that yes, the studio executives who sold those movies that were based on Black culture and the ones that made music based on Black culture made a ton of money, but the artists made money too, and that's how you integrate into culture.
Right. By the way,
AAVE is African American Vernacular English.
Yeah. So
But it's like, if anyone can speak that way and grow up speaking that way, it doesn't actually belong to only certain people.
And it's just, to me, it just boggles my mind. It's like, I don't know what the logical conclusion of what they want is.
Submission.
In these cases.
It's only
But like
submission.
reeling it back to Chet Hanks, like obviously you can't get a Jamaican accent in a week, but like this dude is just just a silly, goofy guy.
Yeah.
Like, let him be him.
Yep. They don't understand that you can just like, it's not going to kill you to not make this guy's life miserable because he went viral and you disagree with him. Just leave it be.
By the way, as a guy who's brought American girls to my Hispanic family, like when my exes like would make the effort, you know, of like speaking the language and saying things in like the Caribbean flavor, my family would be ecstatic, like overjoyed. Whereas here, like trying to like respect like everyone's cultural flavor is seen like an offense. Like this is such a distortion of reality.
It's like when people say the cultural melting pot here is a lie. It's actually a bunch of separate ingredients that are kept apart on a table.
A quilt.
It's not actually a melting pot, which is to me honestly a huge shame, and that bothers the hell out of me because I love the idea of that notion when it works, but it's like they don't want it to, right? And I would ask, like, if you're speaking English is derived from where? Like, are they culturally appropriating the English language, which came from someplace else entirely? Like, at a certain point.
I mean, this is just like the story of all culture.
Everything is like when they go out to eat at night. If she eats Chinese food, is she appropriating Chinese culture by eating Chinese food?
But at least it's dying off, man. Like in no other time but today, like when this came up, you would be like, oh, you know what? I apologize to every Jamaican and like to every whatever, and you just like apologize and bend down, and you still get the hit piece written about you. Here, he's getting chastised in public. He's like, nah. Nah. So it's like it's the beginning of the indications that like it's over. Like this the whole little culture about like repentance is over. And that is why I originally liked about White Boy Summer and thus decided to become the patron saint of it. Because it is a moment of levity, that it's the only moment where it's like somewhat non-PC and it got like a general pass from people.
Yeah.
And when the initial hit pieces began, everyone was like, dude, relax. So I do think, non-ironically, it was kind of a watershed moment for the vibes. So
yeah, under the YouTube video of this interview, everyone was saying like, this is Chet Hanks laying out the blueprint for other celebrities, how they should respond when they keep getting these accusations thrown at them.
The hit piece is still going to get written about you.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Your apology does not
It's like
matter
not
to
even
them.
at the level of a footnote.
It's Chet Hanks. If it ends up being that Chet Hanks is the one who saves Western civilization, it will be
starting to look like that.
It will be the greatest story
happening.
ever told. That Tom Hanks, and the best part will be it will be narrated by Tom Hanks. Like the Simpsons thing where like Tom Hanks he narrates all the important moments in American history.
we could probably get Morgan Freeman for this one.
So we get Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington to play his best friend, and they just they bring everyone together with Chet Hanks and Tom Hanks, and they go on like a cross country road trip saving the world, saving Western civilization.
Here's the most important thing. She says, do you want to apologize? He thinks about it, says no. She's shocked, asks again, because like obviously like 01.
Yep.
Are you triggered? So like her programming like reignites again. And he's like, no. And then what does she do? Nothing, because there's nothing you can do if I'm not sorry for it.
And I also love the fact that they're so used to to getting their way in these
Yeah.
situations.
Right.
That the fact that he didn't comply.
The way she just stared blankly at him is so telling.
She's like,
She
I lost
really
half an
thought
hour
that
of-
was gonna work.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind that they actually think that, like, or that it's just never going to end. Like they're so used to getting their way that they kind of their brain shuts down when they don't when it doesn't happen. So, is there another example you guys can think of somebody else who's done this recently, who's been good about not bending
Dave
the knee?
Chappelle?
He's kind
It's
of
a little bit of a different situation, but
I don't know, because like I feel like Chet Hanks is getting completely unscathed. Like you know, like Chappelle like pisses some people off like bad, but like he's like also hitting a different hornet's nest. But Chet Hanks is like, I don't know.
There's something innocent about Chet Hanks's
A lot of
about
it.
what's like with Dave Chappelle. There's a lot of political implications. There's the financial aspects. I think he's making money off. Chet Hanks looks like he just wants to live his life, and they won't let him live his life.
Here's what I think,
Silly,
like
goofy dude.
he's not a product as much as he is a man.
Yeah.
Right? And with other people, like his brother is a product. He's like a, you know, like Academy Award nominated actor. And so like when
With Meryl Streep.
oh Christ. So like if he gets asked about like the little things, he has to be like, of course, I'll never have a burrito again. And like and Chet Hanks is like, nah. Because he's a dude. And dudes rule.
he needs to come on the show.
For real.
What did you say? Dude's what?
So okay, dudes rule.
Source, bro.
I'll send it later.
Okay.
Chet Hanks is a dude. Thus, Chet Hanks rules.
Okay, perfect. That's the logic is
That's
infallible.
all we need.
The logic is infallible.
Irrefutable fact.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.